TikTok's algorithm loves polarizing content, as we've seen from the alarming rise in RageBait over the last handful of years. It thrives on controversy. The likes, comments, shares, and debates all boost visibility, even when the feedback is negative. Today, I want to dive into the messy lore of Amanda McG, a TikToker who is thriving on this controversy of living in a absolutely next level disgusting household. I want to unpack whether or not all this judgment is justified, or if maybe there's another side to this story. But first, hello everyone, and welcome back to De-Influenced. I'm Sasha, and here's where I dive deep into the chaotic world that is influencer culture, call them out, and hold them accountable for their crappy behaviors. So if any of that sounds entertaining to you or valuable in any way, shape, or form, I would truly appreciate it if you hit the subscribe, give this video a like, and turn on those bells so you never miss a future upload. And I really appreciate it. At the end of the day, thank you so much, and let's go, guys. First, a little background information for those of you that don't know. Amanda McG is a TikToker who's been garnering a lot of attention recently for her next level filthy home. We are talking extreme messes here, hoarding level behaviors, laundry piled high, dishes piled high, dirt and grime on every surface. It's way past the overwhelmed mom struggling to keep up with the chores. And it's at the point now where it's no longer just messy or cluttered, it's become a health hazard. And it's an extremely dangerous environment for the kids to live in, even for Amanda to be living in. Dirt, mold, grime, dust, all these pollutants in the air they breathe, on the surfaces they eat off of, everywhere. She currently sits just shy of 600,000 followers on TikTok and 13 million likes on her content. And for many people, her message resonated. A mom of four fighting back against the unrealistic standards that social media has put forth in terms of cleanliness and how a mother should run and upkeep her home. The movement that she promotes, the Normalize the Mess movement, challenges those standards that many find so unrealistic and unattainable. But her content takes it way too far, which is where she's finding a lot of the criticism is coming from. But I want you to ask yourself, could there be more to this story? Could it be mental health struggles that is making the overwhelm and the mess impossible to clean? Or is it all just dramatic rage bait for clicks, views, likes, and engagement? And furthermore, is that okay, especially when kids are involved? Amanda soon found out that with every supporter came an onslaught of people critiquing her content, saying that it's unhealthy, it's unsafe, and overall just a disgusting environment for children to be living in. And as I said, while this movement, the Normalize the Mess movement, has value, Amanda takes it way too far. She took that line and just ran with it. And now you can't even find the line under the mess anymore. It's nuts. But if you've been on social media for a while, you will have likely seen the boom in clean talk, I guess you could say, because everything's the talk now. We got mom talk, we got clean talk, we got book talk, all the talks are there. It became a huge niche over time, this clean with me, where the influencers would take their cloth and wipe down a clean counter. Always made me giggle. I always love watching clean people clean houses. I guess that's why their house stays clean. I mean, that's the benefit of it. Whereas Amanda is accused of purposely creating this mess or leaving stuff so it gets so bad, so she can make content out of it, right? And that's where the line gets drawn for many people who can no longer support Amanda's Normalize the Mess movement. But if you remember, a lot of family vloggers pushed this whole clean with me, tidy with me, organize with me. They were all promoting cleaning products and vacuums and getting free stuff, and that's what they would do. That was their content. It was clean up with me. So it's the same sort of starting point. We start with a messy, we're doing clean with me videos. The problem is just that starting point of an acceptable level of mess. And that's where the differ lies. Whereas fancy, aesthetically pleasing influencers start cleaning a clean home, Amanda's is next level. And it's what set her apart from other creators. It's that shock factor. The issue is we have children living in this home. It's just not okay, because what are you teaching your children, and what kind of chaos are they living in on the day-to-day? But as we said earlier, with the TikTok algorithm being a powerful beast, Amanda's content thrives in this. Why? Because it's controversial, it's shocking, and it gets people to comment on it, to engage with it. And even if that engagement is negative, it is a positive boost to her content, because the only thing the algorithm focuses on are those hits on the video, the comments, the likes, the shares, the debates back and forth between, no, this is normal, this is what my house looks like, no, it's not, this is, that whole thing makes her more relevant and pushes her in front of more people, which gets more people upset, which gets more people commenting. And it all comes back to, we need a better place to express our outrage, to express our frustrations with these influencers that's not on their platform. Especially if it's been going on for years, they are not going to listen to you. They're not. Commenting on their platform is just keeping them relevant. Whether viewers love or hate Amanda McG, all of those comments, likes, shares boost her further into the algorithm and boost her visibility. And another trend we've seen over the last handful of years, I'd say 2-ish years after we all kind of came down from the COVID fiasco, is that push for authentic influencers. And once again, Amanda fits more in with that authentic self than these super beige mom aesthetically pleasing people. Rachel Hughes with her aesthetically pleasing house and the kids aren't allowed any toys anywhere. That sort of stuff isn't realistic. And that's where I feel the Normalize the Mess movement started from. These overly perfect homes that don't look lived in. They look staged. If you have kids, your house is going to be messy, and kids come with a lot of stuff. So your house is probably going to be a little cluttered. And this whole clean with me movement made those standards so unrealistic to people, and moms started getting really down on themselves, saying, I'm not good enough because I can't keep up with this person. But that person, it's their job. Their job is to clean their house. They damn well better have a clean house. That's all they do all day, every day. If you're working a 9 to 5 and your house is messy, you forgot to vacuum 2 days in a row, a week in a, it doesn't matter. That's normal. But on the other end of the spectrum, what Amanda's doing is too far and also not normal and shouldn't be normalized. There's a difference between having a messy house or forgetting the laundry in the washer one time and having piles upon piles of dirty clothes, layers of grime built up on surfaces, dishes piled high, starting to mold, starting to rot. And I know we all forget that one container in the back of the fridge every once in a while, and you pull it out and you're like, I'm not even gonna bother washing this. This is going straight in the garbage. I know that. Again, we're all human. Having perfectly aesthetically pleasing homes isn't realistic. It's not a realistic standard. But in my opinion, this should also not be realistic and normalized. And a huge question we need to be asking ourselves is, why are the algorithms pushing engagement over ethics? And why is it when you report a video, nothing gets done about it? Why are we so focused on this train wreck content and building up crappy people only to see their downfall? That's what I really feel a lot of this RageBait TikTokers or these highly hated, highly controversial people on the internet, that's what I feel like people are doing. They're building them up to see the train crash. And is that okay? Is that a good spot to be in terms of social media? It's kind of like zoo animals on display, and people are just sitting there mocking and taunting them until they snap. And then it's all this breaking news and entertainment. It's really gross. We're in a weird spot. I don't know what's happening with the world. We live in a dystopian universe. That's what's happening with the world. So it comes down to, is this Normalize the Mess movement empowering, or is it an excuse to be neglectful and accepted as a neglectful parent? Because as we've said, this Normalize the Mess movement empowers parents to challenge those social pressures, those unrealistic expectations that have been set by social media influencers. And I can be there with that, because for people to promote these perfect homes and perfect lives, well, sorry, influencers, us normal people, us common folk, know that life isn't perfect. It is messy, especially when kids are involved. And that's that's okay. It's okay to be in a season of life where your house is a little messier. It's not going to be like that forever. Your kids are going to grow up. They're going to leave your house one day, and you will have a clean home again one day. And we really shouldn't be shaming parents because their home is messy. So for some, seeing Amanda's home comes as that form of relief because it's the change from that perfection that is so unattainable. But how far is too far? Because many critics on Reddit say that this goes beyond normal levels of mess. When you open up a car door and there's trash piling out of it at the school drop-off line, that's too far. When you have a dirty top of your washing machine because it's never been wiped down or something was smeared on it, that's too far. And when this mess and chaos goes too far, as seen here, it starts to pose some serious mental health and physical health threats for both the children and Amanda alike. And the thing is this has been going on for years, with a Reddit thread dating back as early as 2023 stating sadness for the kids living in this kind of chaotic, messy environment and growing up here. What kind of changes is that bringing to their brains, to their physical health? And there's also been quite a few YouTube videos that echo that exact same sentiment. How far is too far? Extreme messes, like what Amanda shows, can lead to so many issues, including mold, mildew, and bacteria. It can all grow on these unwashed dishes, surfaces, on the clothes lying damp in a pile, and pose some huge physical health risks. And then on top of that, we have the mental clutter that physical clutter creates in our brains. A cluttered environment has been shown to cause long-term emotional stress and trauma in children. It's also been noted that cluttered environments can accentuate ADHD and anxiety symptoms and even cause it in children or adults. It can also have a massive impact on Amanda as well. It's not even just the kids. There have been countless studies that have come out over the last few years that say visual clutter actually increases cortisol levels in mothers, in women specifically. Men, again, they have that ability to compartmentalize everything. We don't. Our brains work different, and our brains react differently to clutter, causing an actual increase in cortisol levels in your body. Crazy, terrifying. And I found a really great article here that I want to share a couple snippets with you guys because it really gives a good summary of the link between mental health and visual clutter. So this is from Psychology Today, and this article will be linked down in the description box if you want to go read through the entire thing or go see the study that was connected. It's a hyperlink straight to the study. In 2010, a study was conducted on dual-income married couples with at least one child living in the home. The study showed that when the wife viewed the home as cluttered, her cortisol rates rose throughout the day, while those not experiencing a clutter problem noticed their cortisol levels dropped throughout the day. In this study and others, women tend to be more impacted by the stress of clutter than men. My hypothesis for this is that women are overwhelmed with the clutter because they know they have to carry the cognitive load of ultimately figuring it all out. In most American homes, women carry the bulk of what's called mental load. Mental load is any work that requires our brains, noticing, remembering, delegating, researching, etc. When a woman sees clutter, yes, this is a generalization and might not apply to all, she doesn't only notice the mess, but begins to actively process what she's going to need to do next and how she will do it. Thinking through the act of navigating clutter can create cognitive overload, which results in a stressed state that can cause agitation, overwhelm, and shutdown. When this happens, people struggle to engage with life in a way that they'd like to, possibly feeling so overburdened by where everything should go that they either shift into overdrive, putting it all away, or shut down completely, unable to take action. So for Amanda, as well as her 4 kids, their environment that they're living in raises real concern because of all the studies that have been done. Critiquers on Reddit have even pointed out that they would never let their baby crawl on that kind of floor. And I guess there was a video where their baby was crawling on really gross floor and was physically dirty from just crawling around on the floor. And again, there's a difference between being messy and being super duper dirty. And many are arguing that this is just a completely dangerous and toxic environment, literally and metaphorically, for the kids to be living in. But before we judge too hard, I want to consider some of the mental health aspects that could be going on behind the scenes. And that is that Amanda's mess might be less of a choice and more of a mental health struggle. As a mom of 4, she's likely juggling a lot. I would know. I also have 4. They're messy and loud and chaotic and busy. And I also just learned that Amanda has a couple neurospicy kids as well. So that adds even more onto the mental overload and overwhelm that she might be suffering from. And also her day-to-day tasks. It looks a little different. Everything's a little bit trickier when you have neurospiciness in the family. And many on Reddit and other forums agree that Amanda very well might be suffering from some mental health challenges, from hoarding to anxiety and depression, which with her completely unapologetic, sarcastic tone behind her content, and also her ability to get up and film disgusting TikToks and clean up on camera, that makes it feel performative to me. That's where I start to question whether or not there are true mental health struggles going on. But one thing that I was questioning is whether or not Amanda might be struggling with something and kind of stuck in this vicious cycle that she's finding impossible to break free from. The mess causes chaos and the clutter causes chaos, which causes that cognitive overload that we just discussed and causes her to shut that shit right down. And then we can never move forward with actual tangible solutions. And also, I don't know what kind of help and support she has in the home, if the dad is involved, if she has family close by to help alleviate some of that mental overwhelm and mental burden that she might be suffering from, or someone to come help dig her out of these trenches. Where are the people in these children's lives, in this woman's life, to come and be like, yo, this isn't normal, this isn't okay, we need to clean this shit up. Like, let's go. Let's get you guys out of this. Where's the help and support? Given the state of her home and what we just learned in that article, it's very possible that Amanda's caught in this vicious cycle of catch-22. And this is where I want to open up a little bit about my own struggles, because I feel like it would make me extremely hypocritical if I just sat here and trashed on someone with a messy home while sitting in a messy, cluttered home myself. I've been pretty open with you guys about my mental health struggles, especially with my ADHD, and there might be other stuff going on in this brain of mine, who knows. There's also hoarding tendencies in my family, and as I've done more research, I've also learned about scarcity mindset, which is something that is pretty deeply ingrained in me and that I'm trying to break free from, even though it's very, very hard to do so nowadays, given the state of our economy. It's kind of hard to get out of that scarcity mindset now, isn't it? But my whole life, I've always been messy, and now I understand a little bit more about how my brain works, my organization style, which if you are struggling with clutter, I highly recommend you check out Cass from Clutterbug. She has an organization method that is fantastic that I've been following myself, and it's really helped me organize for my brain, for my specific organization type. So 10 out of 10, highly recommend. Even just go take the quiz, because it might be that aha moment. But I was diagnosed with ADHD later in life. So for me, that aha moment of my brain works differently, which is why I can't keep up with this, or why I can't keep that clean house, that aesthetically pleasing house, why I have troubles getting rid of certain things or letting go of things or whatever. And that also ties into the scarcity mindset. No, I need this because in the future, I might not be able to get this again, or I might not have the funding available to get this again, even though it's causing mental burdening and a mental load in my brain. All this to say is that oftentimes my house is a mess. I'm slowly digging my family out of the trenches because we do have a neurospicy family, and I know that my house is actively causing harm, damaging our mental health even further, or at least making it harder to function and accentuating the struggles of ADHD instead of the gift. And I've been slowly starting to dig myself out of the trenches, but I find that oftentimes I apologize. My best friend comes over and I spend half an hour cleaning before she comes and still apologize that my house is a mess, even though it's not really a mess, it's lived in. But there are times that my dishes pile up. There's times that the laundry gets forgotten. There's times that I don't vacuum for a few days, which is why I bought a robot vacuum. Again, highly recommend. If you struggle with tasks, offload as much as you can. Offload that shit. Just get rid of tasks. Robot vacuum, so good. But I myself feel a deep level of shame and guilt when my house isn't spotless, or looking around and seeing the clutter and chaos and feeling paralyzed and unable to do anything about it. Mental health struggles really affect cleaning and day-to-day tasks. And when you have ADHD, if something is perceived as overwhelming or a lot of steps or going to take a long time, your brain shuts you down. It's wild. So for me, this Normalize the Mess movement feels empowering. Or like it can be empowering at the very least because of the struggles that I go through daily. And I don't think that people who live in a lived-in home or a slightly messy home, a cluttered home, whatever, should cluttered to a certain point. If you only have one path through your house, it's a little too far, but you know what I'm saying? But I don't think that moms should have such a heavy emotional burden and weight when it comes to the state of their home. Messy isn't the end of the world. Lived in isn't the end of the world. And this Normalize the Mess movement can be very powerful in those aspects. And let's be realistic. Challenging those unrealistic standards is important because even those super aesthetically pleasing beige mom homes, that's not the most child-friendly either. But on the opposite end of the spectrum, because it's not fulfilling for a child's emotional development, physical development when it comes to children, when they're not in a child-friendly or child-safe environment, where they're able to explore their own environment independently, but safely. That's part of setting up a home for a child. And when kids don't have access to age-appropriate things because all the toys have to be put away, everything needs to be aesthetically pleasing all the time, that's not necessarily conducive to child development either. But on the other end of the spectrum, when we have children living in chaotic homes that are next level messy, well, that's also damaging to a child's mental health. So we have to be mindful of both ends of the spectrum. And that circles back to not everything needs to be normalized. Yes, we should talk about messy homes. Yes, we should talk about mental health struggles, but we don't need to normalize all those super toxic negative aspects of those struggles. We need to talk about the fact that people do struggle with this stuff and we shouldn't judge, but also just sitting back and allowing that person to live like that and nobody stepping in to help out isn't okay. Again, it's animals in a circus zoo. We're all consuming these people as entertainment, hoping for the ultimate downfall. What's the goal of supporting this person and allowing her to keep her home like this? Because if it was something that she was truly deeply struggling with and wanted to improve, knowing the studies or knowing the dangers, and hasn't over 2 years, well, that's where we need to draw the line and be like, okay, no, I can no longer support this. This isn't okay. It's not healthy and shouldn't be normalized. And that comes back to being digitally literate and smart with your social media currency and where you're spending it, because it has so much power. But like I said, that's the other side of the coin, the mental health aspect. But can we truly believe that there are mental health struggles that are causing this when the tone is so sarcastic and snarky and unapologetic? And when there's no strive for improvement or bettering the life for her or her children? That doesn't scream necessarily mental health unless we're talking like oppositional defiance disorder. That's the only spot I can be with this. No, I'm not going to clean my house. Screw you, haters. Makes you really feel like it's all rage bait.
I appreciate this comment so incredibly much. Thank you so much. Clear a few things up on that last video. No, I did not get rid of my dogs. They are outside. We got rid of the chairs that they were tagging. My dogs have a permanent area outside that they can stay outside all day. They have shade, they have water, they have food, they have dog houses. Also, no, I did not dump trash on the side of the road. We live in a really small town and we have a local dump that we can go every Sunday and Monday, pay $5 to dump our trash. Some people don't have trash service around here, so they rely on going to the dump every weekend to dump their household trash and stuff. So that's what it was. We could dump mattresses, metals, cardboards, recycling there, and it was only a $5 fee, so. Also, yes, my husband does sleep in a separate room than me. I like it better that way. My daughter and my youngest sleep with me. My husband snores really, really loud, and I'm up a lot in the middle of the night, dealing with the baby, not so much dealing with the baby anymore, but, I don't sleep very good in the middle of the night. I deal with insomnia, so it's just easier for us to sleep separate. Don't worry, we still find time to do the deed. I hope that clears everything up. Probably not, because people are still going to harp on me, even though I am actively making a difference to make it better. And I know some areas I just kind of blocked away when I cleaned the whole house, and we were just chipping away one deep clean at a time. So I appreciate you guys.
But all this is a lesson in media literacy about questioning everything we see. Why are we seeing this? Why is it being posted? Why is it being pushed and promoted? As viewers, we need to start questioning what we're seeing and why we're seeing it. First thing we can question is the narrative. Is it a choice? Is it a struggle? Is it both? And then the second thing to question is the context. What's the reasoning behind her videos? And then finally, we need to consider the impact that this can have not only on just her kids and herself, but her audience and the broader conversation. Upwards of 80% of TikTok content is polarizing. It's designed to spark debates. It's rage bait. And Amanda's content shows exactly how this can work to boost yourself into the algorithm. That comes back to, as viewers, we need to do better. We need to be more aware about the content we are promoting, the content we are supporting. Because realistically, her content highlights bigger issues, and that is societal expectations that are placed on mothers, that are placed on how a household should look and be run. Studies show that upwards of 70% of moms feel judged by the state of their homes. I opened up to you guys about always apologizing for having a messy home or for this being out of place or whatever the case may be, because we feel that internalized feeling of judgment. And the Normalize the Mess movement challenges that perspective, and it challenges that judgment, that initial judging people. But the problem is people like Amanda who take it way too far, who are now normalizing the other end of the spectrum that also should not be normalized. We can normalize the mess without taking it to either extreme. And that's on both ends, because I also don't think it's good for the cleaning influencers to constantly feel like they need their house to be spotless. But that's where social media and places like Reddit come into the mix. And it's funny, not sticking up for Drew Basham, but I saw her say that, like, I feed my baby takeout and I'm a POS, and I feed my baby homemade food and I'm trying too hard. And that's the problem with certain snark subs, with certain people holding influencers accountable. It's no longer at that point of accountability. It's bitch eating cracker syndrome. No matter what they do, they're always wrong. So the minute a sock is left out in a cleaning influencer's house, oh, well, they're pigs. The minute that Amanda cleans up her act and actually cleans her house, oh, well, then she's going to be trying too hard. It's this catch-22, and you can never fully please anyone. It's up to us as consumers of social media to be more wary of whose content we consume on the daily, of who we support. And for the love of God, stop making trashy rage baiters famous. Please. Can we just rein in on the rage bait in 2025? I feel like it's starting to fizzle a little bit. I hate it so effing much. So much, guys. Hate it. And by approaching this story with a certain level of empathy, we can see some of the struggles that lie potentially behind the mess. And by using that social media literacy that we just discussed, we can question why TikTok is showing this to us, why this is being pushed, and together we can have better, more productive conversations about the future of social media and realize that your social media currency is so incredibly powerful. But that's all I have for you guys for today's video. Tell me down below, what do you guys think about this? Are people taking it way too far in judging this woman? Not far enough? Do you think she's taking it way too far? And how does your house look? Share with me. I opened up to you about mine. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day wherever you are. Please don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this if you did enjoy it, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye, guys.